Hello, Professor Stevens. I have two stories. I have my nephew Gavin, who's 13, here with me, my nephew Jason, who's 14, and my mom with me here for my video. We're going to talk about two different stories, and then I'm going to get their fundamental attribution outlook on these two stories, basically. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Claire Miller story, and that is based on a 14-year-old girl who murdered her sister who has a disability. And then I'm gonna have my mom talk a little bit more into that because we actually have a family member that knows that family personally, so my mom will be able to give like a little bit more of like a better feel to it. And then with these two young men, I'm going to get into the Super Bowl toss of the Tom Brady, because that's something that is going on in the news recently, especially something that they know about and interests them a little bit. So I'm going to have my mom get into the story on Claire.
Well, the Claire Miller story is about a girl who's 14 out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, who has had stabbed her sister in the early morning hours of February 22nd. Her sister was disabled with cerebral palsy and she was nonverbal. Claire stabbed her sister and called 911 hysterically, screaming she had stabbed her sister, and waited for them in her driveway. When the EMT and the police arrived, Claire was in the driveway with blood on her pants, washing her hands in the snow, trying to get rid of the blood on her hands, and she led them into the house where her sister Helen was. When they got to Helen's room, they removed a pillow from Helen's head, and there was a knife sticking in Helen's throat, and they tried to revive her, but they were unable to revive Helen. So Claire was immediately taken into custody. The parents were sleeping. They woke the parents up, informed them what was going on, and Claire is now in custody in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and being charged as an adult, because in Pennsylvania they don't have a juvenile, a juvenile?
They don't have like the restrictions for when you murder somebody, or any type of restriction under the age, under like a certain extent of a felony. They charge you as an adult after like a certain
like the gravity of the case.
Yes, that's exactly what they said, the gravity of the case. So jumping into that, since my nephews are around Claire's age, Jason is actually 14 just like Claire, just not as a freshman, and Gavin's 13. I wanted to kind of get their little outlook on mentally how they're feeling, maybe of what pushed Claire out, Claire. Why did Claire go to this extent of murdering her sister that has a disability? Like, what was going on in her head? I know COVID has been having a really big extent on a lot of people recently, and a lot of different things. So I just wanted to get like the younger bloods kind of feeling of what's going on with COVID right now. So like, how is COVID restricting you guys right now? How does it make you feel mentally? Do you feel the same as you were 2 years ago?
No.
You don't feel like schooling's the same, life's the same? You feel like it has a little bit more of a drag, like you don't feel like as excited or into something as well, I guess you would say? You're not really like...
It's like less
I feel like it's more of a struggle too. Are you guys struggling a little more with
don't have as
e-learning?
much time in school,
Yeah,
so like
you have like
harder
20
to,
minutes
do
to
your work.
finish your homework, and then it's like less motivating to do any of it.
And that's a lot, especially for being like a younger generation compared to me. I know it's hard for me as it is as a college student, so I couldn't even imagine their caliber. Well, in Claire's shoes, Claire's actually also an honor student. She's never been in trouble before. This was like her first time being in trouble. So I kind of like wanted to ask my nephews, if you were in Claire's situation where you were an honor student, it was like you had to take care of your sister most of the days because your dad's injured right now, and it was just, I think it was a little bit overwhelming for Claire. What's your guys' opinion? What do you think drew Claire? Like, why do you think she went to this extent of murdering her disabled sister?
Jealousy.
You believe jealousy? What about you, Gavin? How do you feel?
Like, she had too much responsibility. She had like too much on her back. She had to do
too much on her plate for being how young she is. I agree
stress
too.
to work with.
I agree with that too. Now I'm gonna jump over to the transition of the Super Bowl trophy toss, and this one was a kind of little weird because it rubbed some people wrong, and some people didn't really view it any kind of way. I didn't really view it as a negative aspect compared to this woman who goes by the name of Lorraine Groves, who was very upset that Tom tossed this Super Bowl trophy because her father, whose name was Greg Groves, was originally the first person to whoever crafted the Lombardi trophy back then. So she feels as if this was kind of like almost like a slap to the face to like silver master smiths and all that, like people who create that kind of art. She says that this is their passion, and they put a lot of time and effort into this piece just for somebody to basically disgrace it and just throw it like it's garbage. And I wanted to ask my nephew's like input on this. Like, do you feel like Tom Brady like was just kind of like tipsy? They said that he was very intoxicated at this event and was just like wasn't thinking too much of it. Do you think he threw it like
I think
because he
was
thought it was
just
all
having
that
fun.
in a bag of chips, or what? Did
I think
you?
it was more of like a message.
What do you think? What do you think the message was?
Oh,
that Tom
you
Brady?
do?
Like everyone's always hating on him and they think that he's not good enough, but he wins year after year and he's showing them like, I'm good enough. Like I don't need this.
Yeah, almost like as true. Like I have so many of these trophies. I touch his trophy so many times, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Almost.
Which would be a disgrace to her. And that's probably where she's getting it from. Because she's saying it was disgrace because it should be so protected because it takes so much to get this and it's a trophy that not everybody is
and it is very
able
hard
to achieve.
Exactly, it is very hard.
I
to
don't think
create
she has like she could say anything. I mean, her dad did craft the first personal one, but she can't really have an input. She didn't create it. She didn't help create it. You know.
that. I also see that aspect too, but I think
Yeah.
it's also
It's
like
also
the culture
like
behind it. You
She's
know.
making everyone like her word is everyone's word. That's where I come from. Like,
And
she's
it's
saying
also
that
like,
her
who
word
are
is.
you? This is like, who,
Yeah, like-
you're
No one
just the
knows who
daughter
you
of this
are,
woman.
yeah.
Let these people enjoy. I feel like every time that there's like something that the media, something's going on in the media that if it doesn't go her way, like maybe she was rooting for the Chiefs or maybe she doesn't like football at all. Why are you like putting a negative outlook on any good situation that's going on right now? Some people won their first ever Super Bowl. Some people won hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, let them enjoy their time. Like, I understand if the football was damaged, if the trophy was damaged, or if it fell or anything like that. But I feel like at that point that she was just kind of like reaching and striving out to grab some attention for no reason,
Yeah.
basically.
She like didn't have like much to say either. She was just saying, "Oh, I lost sleep," and she was also taking the word of all like silversmiths.
And
She
she's
was-
asking for literally the Michael Jordan of football to apologize to her. Like, who are you, lady? You said you
Like,
lost
for
two days of sleep over something like of
That-
somebody
But
that
he
they
should
don't really want.
apologize to her because if it hurt her that bad, then I feel like he should. And I'm not sure if he did or not. I don't know. Did anybody look into? I don't know if he did, but he should apologize. I don't think that he did it to maliciously hurt anybody.
Yeah,
so
I don't think
I'm
so
sure he would apologize. He'd be like, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt anybody. You know, they were wanting to touch it. I threw it onto the other boat. You know."
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like his why aspect for that was definitely not to any like hurt any intentions, but it was kind of just like I said, he's been there before. It's nothing new to him. It was kind of just like
He
maybe
wanted to share the feeling with the other people.
it's never been done before. Nobody's ever seen that, and then it was his first time in another city. Let him express himself differently
think it
than
was-
when he did with the Patriots.
I think it was just like in the moment type thing. Everyone was
Yeah.
rooting for him to do it. Everyone was
Yeah.
telling him, throw it. So he just was in the moment, you know? Like everyone, he was just living the moment.
Yep,
I
good
agree.
point.
Those are definitely
Good
two
point.
stories. I didn't want to go with too much of dark, so I went with one that was kind of dark, and then brought sports into two to be able to bring that and tie that in for my nephews here. So we're done wrapping this up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.